For centuries, these walls defended the city of Avignon from its enemies and also from the nearby river. But one of those enemies, for a little while, was the Vatican. From 1309 to 1377, Avignon was actually the center of the Holy See. It wasn't Vatican City. Vatican City had competition, and this was it. And no, it wasn't a schism that happened like with the Eastern Orthodox world or the Russian Orthodox world. No, this was within the Roman Catholic Church. So we are sitting in the place where used to be Vatican City, at least here in France. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. Today we're going to explore the city of Avignon, here in France, in Provence. And cue the sirens, I think the Pope is a bit mad that I'm visiting this area. So, don't tell Pope Francis that I'm here in Avignon. I think he won't appreciate that I'm here in his rival city. But we're going to enjoy what used to be the papal palace, at least from the outside. We're going to see the Pont d'Avignon and then walk through the medieval streets of Avignon here in France. So right now we are on the ramparts along the wall of this medieval city. It's actually one of the better preserved walls in all of Europe. It's almost fully intact, which is quite a miracle. Here we're seeing parts of the palace. Popes were here from 1309 to 1377. So yep, that was about 8 popes. Popes came and went very quickly back in those days. Oh, cool water pipe. Oh, is that Pope Francis? I hope he's not coming. Hey, hello Mater, nice to see you here. Welcome everyone to the broadcast. We're at the ramparts, the city walls of Avignon. There used to be a huge moat around here as well. And the city walls were not only built to prevent the rival Vatican City trying to come in or other enemies, but also to prevent the water from overflowing and flooding the city. So it was a double defense. You can see it's a pretty steep fall, so enemies would need a very, very long ladder to get up here. Hello Kay, hello Wendy. Nice to see you here. Welcome to the live video. Okay. So there's another staircase to go up to this tower. Bad service within these walls, so we're gonna stick mostly outside. Hello Kay, hello Colleen. Ryan says, who wears shorts? I love that you're quoting or referring to SpongeBob SquarePants. Indeed, I got my shorts on. Annie from London with love. Nice to see you here, Annie. Welcome. The Pope is arriving for his summer holiday, says Ryan. You look so happy in France, says Leslie. It's all the good food, Leslie. The hello everyone, nice to see you, Wilmy. Hey, wow, we got so many people tuning in. Blah blah blah. Nice to see you here, Leela. Marianne, Benedetti, I'm so happy to see you here. Thank you so much for being a mega urbanist. MZ, nice to see you here. Ved, Nova, everyone. I've a few times have gotten the complaint on my live video replays where people are saying, oh, do you have to say everyone's name? Yes. I'm calling attendance, so yes, it is quite required. But let's go back to 1177 AD. A little kid by the name of Benedetti. A little bit hard to pronounce his name in French, but Benedict would be his name in English. He came over here and had a vision, a divine vision from God, telling him to build a bridge that would cross the Rhone River. This is the mighty Rhone that flows all the way up to Lyon, which we were just a few days ago. Lyon, of course, is a mighty industrial power of France, but had to connect down here to one of the most important areas in terms of agriculture, and then nearby the Mediterranean. But the thing is, the Mediterranean, that other side of France, with this other side of France were separated because of the Rhone. People couldn't travel back and forth. It would take a very, very long journey to go around it. So he got this divine vision to build this huge bridge, but they didn't quite have the engineering at that time to build that bridge. So he kept trying to convince the powers that be, hey, let's build a bridge. It was a divine vision. God told me to do it. And somehow he rallied the town, the city at that time, to make this bridge. It took him 22 arches to build it across the mighty Rhone, finally connecting both sides of this area of France. So if a little shepherd boy can build a huge bridge, anyone can. Gives me hope that I can convince the powers that be in New York City to build a huge high-speed rail system that connects New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., and Philly, all within very short rides. Gives me hope that I can do that myself one day. So we're going to walk across this bridge. Funny thing about this bridge is that it's no longer fully intact, so it's kind of sliced. Cynthia says, how about subway to Staten Island? I agree. We'll also do a subway to Staten Island. We got a traffic jam. Let's cross the Pont d'Avignon. So there's a marker right there. They're taking a photo right there at the moment, but there's a marker that says this is also the chapel, the chapel of St. Michael. Benedict was eventually entombed here in a chapel that they built. I think it might be this one, yeah, because the marker's there, so it might be this one. So they entombed or buried, not 100% sure which one, but Benedict is here. The little shepherd boy who built the bridge. Now, I don't know this 100% for sure, so if any French viewers can clarify or not. But, do I have a 5 on me? Yes, I do. Okay. There's a $5 bill, €5 bill, has a bridge, but I'm not sure whether it's the Pont du Gard or the Pont d'Avignon or something else. Teacup says, how did he live to be? You know, I actually don't know. He managed to complete the bridge though, so he lived long enough for that at least. Gary says, weren't you going to wear Speedos? We're not in the area for Speedos or short shorts, super short shorts here yet. Oh, the Pope is getting very angry. Over Vatican City last year, he's like, why are you here? Pope Francis, well, he's angry in a very enlightened way, because he's a very loving man. He's angry with love.
Bardzo ładnie.
Before there was a moat, now there's a huge road. Oh, modern engineering. Cynthia says, is that the aqueduct? I don't know. If anyone could find out, let us know. It either looks like the aqueduct we saw yesterday, the Pont du Gard, or it looks like this bridge, or it could be another aqueduct, the ones in Italy. So I think that's the Virgin Mary up there. Kind of looks like her. Madonna and Child, so beautiful. But where's Guy Ritchie? Oh, this is the other Madonna. Never mind, sorry. This is the Virgin Mary. Here is a description of the mighty Rhone. Let's read it. Because we all know that reading is a superpower. So, ladies and gentlemen, and people of all genders, how do I know so many things? It's a very super secret skill I have, which is reading. Yes. Let's read. It's a bit hard to read. The Rhone is the most powerful and fastest river in France, 812 kilometers long. It is subject to many variations and spates, which make it a formidable natural element. Nevertheless, it has served as a communication route since prehistoric times. Invasions and the divisions between Frankish kingdoms turned the river into a border between France and the Germanic Empire. Each bank was referred to as either the kingdom or empire. Disputes over ownership of the river's bed passed down over the centuries. In the 14th century, discussions between the papacy and the kings of France claimed ownership over the entire river. It led to the trial of Rome. Ooh, that sounds like a good movie. I like that. I want to see a HBO series called The Trial of Rome. This never-ending affair was only resolved during the Revolution. Avignon is built on the bend of the Rhone. It is just 5 meters above the lowest water level. The main course of the river was at Villeneuve, the hills of which directed the waters towards Avignon shore, which apart from the Rocheur des Doms is lower. The Avignon branch is barely navigable when the water is low. Wow. And this is the St. Nicholas Chapel. It was built in the Romanesque style in the 14th century. Mariners, boatmen, and sailors made it their society's headquarters until the new chapel was built in the 17th century. So this is the chapel. So that is not the chapel down there. This is the chapel over here. Let's attempt to go downstairs. So this stored the relics of Saint Benedict, who was later canonized. And yeah, that's so cool. Used to have his relics. I'm not sure what the relics are at the moment. And it was repaired in the 17th century. Hey, Fila left a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Fila, for the $20 super chat. He says, thank you so much for bringing us along. My pleasure, Fila. I'm so happy I can bring you along to beautiful Avignon and Provence. So those are the walls, most complete walls in Europe among them. There's, I think, one also in England. I think Kester, where I visited, but couldn't go live, had pretty complete walls too. Wendy says, I love your shirt. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. Mighty Bull says, watching the live shot. Hey, Mighty Bull, you're only watching the live shot, not the actual live video? Mighty Bull? I don't judge. I don't judge, Mighty Bull. If you're only watching the live chat and not the video. The bridge is in excellent state, still impressive, says Joe. It has been repaired over the centuries, but yeah, it is impressive. Unfortunately, they didn't think it was worth leaving the rest of it, so after a few floods, they just let it be, and the rest is over. But 22 arches, that means across this little, I think there's an island or a peninsula, one of those two. I think there's an island that separates two sides of the river.
Va chercher le filet à poisson.
Hey Bill, nice to see you here. Welcome. Wilmy and DS, welcome. Teacup says, have you seen anything in France with regards to Jacques de Molay? Any Knights Templars markings? No. So it's Avignon. A lot of traffic jams here. It's Avignon where the Knights Templar started being persecuted. But no, I haven't seen anything pertaining to the Knights Templar here in France. There's more in England, because they managed to survive a little bit more in England, in London specifically. DS says, wow, another cool place. This trip has been so cool. I'm so glad. How old is Avignon? So Avignon dates back, as far as I know, even further back into ancient times, but the city that we're seeing is mostly medieval. So you can assume after the thousands, 1100. Hey, Magical says, I really admire all the effort you put into your stuff. Really excellent quality. Oh, thank you so much. Here it says Pont Saint-Benezet at Réalise in 1995. This plaque was put in here around that time. Mariella says, hello from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Beautiful scenery. Thank you so much for sharing your adventures. My pleasure. So happy I can show you beautiful Avignon. Right there, we're seeing one of the mountains. Fellow viewer Ludo actually recommended I climb there. You can actually reach it by car, which is cool. It looks snow-topped, it looks snow-capped, but it's not. That's just exposed stone. Avalon says, it's a work of art in beautiful Avignon, especially the cathedral. By any chance, could you light a candle for my sister Marie and Monica and mom Erica? Avalon. Avalon, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, if we visit the cathedral, sure thing. Oh, look at this. Triangles in order to break the flow of the water from flowing too fast, I assume. Because I assume if it were straight, it would hit the water too fast towards the bridge. There's a ferry over here that goes to the other side of Avignon. Does France have a royalty? No. France had a very bloody series of revolutions back in the 1700s and 1800s. They got rid of all the royalty. There might be people who claim to still be descendants of nobles. Some of them might even use the title sometimes. But no, really there's no royalty. And then when it comes to Spain, Spain does have royalty, yes. It's very fascinating with the history of nobles because some of them did continue kind of flaunting that they were indeed nobles in France. And it's, as far as I know, I don't know 100% for sure, but as far as I know, it's the south of France. It's this area further down in the Côte d'Azur where some of those ex-nobles moved to. And they have huge chateaus. Hey Mika, nice to see you here. Welcome. I'm glad you can spot me. Enjoy Provence. Has anything on this trip of France influenced you in any way, says DS? The food is amazing. The food is truly a magical, amazing, great quality almost everywhere. The amazing produce, amazing meat and cheeses specifically. It's truly a wonder to behold. Mika is somewhere up there. That's awesome, Mika. Enjoy your trip to Avignon. And as I mentioned, always happy to say hi to people on the street. But please, as I'm doing live stream, let me be. Don't follow me around. We appreciate that because it could get a bit distracting. But I'm happy always to say hi to people passing the street, which happened a few times in France, which is nice. Avalon says, I would try and send the people. No, Avalon, thank you so much. I appreciate your contributions. Thank you. MZ says the railing doesn't look very strong. It's strong, it's sturdy, but the center of it is way higher than my center. If you are, this will protect a little kid. Well, baby, oh my God. Even that lower railing is too high for a baby. I would be a bit terrified coming here with a little kid. Especially one that just runs. You know, those little kids that just run out of nowhere. I would be very hesitant to come over here with them. Mater says, just wonder if you had a pocket fisherman, if you could try catch fish during your adventures. You know, I've never really been too much of a fan of fishing, but it is a wonderful art. It is slow, so to cover a live stream, it would be a very slow live stream. Could be very peaceful. Maybe one day, ice fishing in Alaska. Stay tuned. Or Minnesotan ice fishing. And here's some weeds, very interesting weeds. Oh, they actually put a sign. It says, "Holds your children's hand." Right here. Mater says Minnesotan ice fishing would be epic. I mean, that's one way to immerse myself into Minnesotan culture. People don't know what Minnesota is. It's a state in the north of the U.S. known for being very super cold during wintertime. Susie says it's sad that they had to remind for parents to hold their kids' arms. He knows that sometimes there's some kids who just don't have common sense, unfortunately. It kind of sucks. You know, I would love to have good faith in kids to have the best, utmost common sense, but not all of them do. So it's sometimes good to state the obvious. Also, some parents don't have common sense. So here's the separation of the bridge. So if an enemy were to attack Avignon, crossing the bridge, they could raise it up, lock the gates, and prevent them from trying to come in. And down here would be, or at least part of it would be a moat. So it'd be very difficult.
Ragazzi.
Hey, Magical says, I feel like everything tastes better in Europe. That's definitely the case. Buongiorno. Wendy asks, have you eaten? Oh yes, I eat a very, very good breakfast. All right, now let's walk outside, show you a little bit more of the streets. So you can see the walls are indeed going all around the town, the city, which usually when we have seen city walls from other places, like Canterbury, where we visited 2 months ago already, wow, it's been a while, only had a few sections of the wall. Kilkenny too, only a few sections. Dia says, it's amazing how much influence Rome has had on the world. Yeah. And Roman engineering alone is a marvel, a true marvel to behold. True marvel to behold. very common to see these nougat shops, cookie shops here in this area of Provence. We got a minibus passing through.
Attends, regarde un truc. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
Wendy says, any soap? Wendy, I'm so glad you asked. Right here. Le monde de savon de Marseille. The world of soap. All the soaps you ever wanted is here. Keith says you should stream on Twitch. Keith, I do. Urbanist Live. But to become big on Twitch, especially if you're a travel live streamer, I would have to be a woman with very angle would have to be this way. And I wouldn't show you the sights. It would just be like the way to get popular on Twitch. That's why I barely get views on Twitch. I'm competing with all those big assets that are out there in the world. Jaou says that's true, yeah. Diaz says, I'm getting fixed this week. Getting it fixed. Ooh, what are you referring to, Diaz? Wow. All right, so I mentioned that this was the Vatican City, basically, for a few decades, 1309 to 1377. Right here is where the popes resided. This was the center of the Holy See for the Roman Catholic Church, trying to become more like the French Catholic Church. Susan says we're a loyal urbanist fan base here. Yeah, we have a few loyal viewers. So I went to the palace the other day. It is pretty bare bones inside. There's not much to see, but there's a few painted rooms which are gorgeous. They didn't allow photos, so I couldn't take any, or video, so I couldn't take any. But what there is inside is a really cool exhibition of the photography of Amazonia. Right there. So if you're in Avignon, I recommend seeing that exhibition. It is really mind-blowing. Wow. EDMO says La Cité de Papas, yes, the city of popes is the nickname of Avignon. Ludo says, why did they leave here? It is very complicated. You know, I attempted to really learn the story, but it's kind of hard to tell because it's so complicated. But in essence, there was a power struggle, and a French king, French royalty wanted more power over the Catholic Church and didn't want to like pay too many taxes and things like that. But after a while, they end up realizing it's much better to have the seat of the Holy See in Rome. That's a super simple version, but I'm not 100% sure what exactly transpired to get it back to Rome. But basically, France lost out on one of those battles politically, and it went back to Rome. EGO says this was actually part of the Papal States. Yeah. So France wasn't even really. It gets very complicated. Very complicated. Teacup says, wow, architectural beauty, yeah. Susie says it's bouncy music. It really is, yeah. That's what you would want to hear in France. Is that typical accordion. But ironically, you barely hear it once you go outside Paris. Franco says, yeah, it was officially part of the Papal States until the French Revolution. Thank you. Yeah, so it was switched over during the French Revolution. Officially, at least. Susie says, there was no reggaeton. Oh, but Susie, he was actually playing a cover of Saca la lengua pa' fuera by Pitbull. No, he wasn't. But I've heard accordionists do covers of the Luis Miguel song. I think that was his name. It was so popular. The name is escaping my mind, but it was one of the most popular reggaeton songs 2 years ago.
Parce qu'il y a 3000 mètres carrés, en plus c'est vraiment...
So let me see if I can pop up photos of the inside of the palace so you can see some of it. Yeah, available. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a peek at the gardens. So these are photos of inside the actual complex. That's right here. Bed service inside. huge hall that they had here. Staircase. And a beautiful crucifixion scene right over here. And then the gardens is right over here. There we go. So that was a little perspective of how it looked inside. Car trying to pass through. Yeesh. These cars use these tiny little medieval streets. Wow. Beautiful. Daniel says, nice picture. You can see how narrow it is. Yeah, it is very narrow. Lots of cars are trying to pass through. The city is like a maze. It really is. So really is like a maze. I'm not sure how these cars really navigate. But yeah, cool. Wow. That's gorgeous. DS says, can you imagine a traffic jam? The entire complex is actually really, the entire city is actually really managed with traffic because they have these bollards that pop up and prevent non-residents or people who don't have a permit from driving within the city limits. Jan says, is it a one-way street? It should be, yeah. Havlon says it's amazing. It is quite amazing, Havlon. That's true. I love that pun. Jaou says, that little train looks so tacky. I found it to be very common in this area of France. Also, many other cities around the world have them. I would say they are a good way of exploring the city, especially if you're with kids. If you're with kids, I would recommend those little trains because, A, it's going to give your kids some magical experience. I remember taking the little trolleys in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico had some trains that had a little trolley that went through Viejo San Juan, Old San Juan. And it's a memory I will always remember. So, yeah. Recommend it. Ooh. Oh. Oh my god. There's so many cars. Kay says it reminds me of the skinny streets of Kilkenny. Yeah. All right, let's walk down one cool street. Quite literally, it's cool because it's kept cool because there's a bunch of hats right covering the street. A hat canopy. And I've seen a few stores, they actually call them Capri hats, like the one that I actually bought in Capri last year in Italy. So, sir, we are in the city of Avignon in France. Wow, beautiful.
Apparemment, la retard a gagné la
Tu viens de passer, là c'est quoi? Il y a un rapport, il a fait neuf, et c'était.
That's cool.
C'est vrai.
Marianne says, can I get a postcard from Avignon? Marianne. Yeah, you're a mega urbanist, so yeah. Thank you for mentioning it. Marianne, thank you so much for being a mega urbanist. Usually I send out postcards on a whim, so I'm like writing them throughout the month. So you might not always get the particular location, but if you're a mega urbanist, when I'm settled down in New York, you'll have the opportunity to pick a postcard for that month. I'm buying a lot of extras, so I have quite plenty of extra postcards from each location. Teacup says thumbs up. Thank you so much, Teacup. Wow. Oh, here I have a good recommendation. If you're looking for fast food in France, which is a bit tough, there's not too many good fast food chains. But this is one of the few good ones. It's like the Shake Shack of France. It's called Big Ferdinand. It's pretty good burgers. Hey, Sharon says, what a beautiful walk. Chris says, how old are these buildings? Most of the buildings we're looking at, no, I don't know 100% sure. That is a great question. That is a great question. So I think we could use some deduction skills. Of course, I can just Google it. But before anyone attempts on Googling it, we could use some deduction skills. So these buildings are stone. That means, yeah, and this city was not super extremely wealthy per se. So this is pre-1900s, that's for sure. They are also stone, so they're most likely not medieval, unless if it's a church or some type of city hall, it would be medieval or monument, then it would be medieval or even more ancient in that case. So definitely not medieval. The style does kind of look like the style that was built in the 1800s, especially with these huge windows, the smaller windows on the top. Yep, smaller windows on the top. And then another factor is the stories, 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually if it's a medieval building, it would not have more than 4 stories. Usually it will just be 3. So I would guess that these buildings are in the 1800s, 1830s, 40s, 50s. So yeah, that's my educated guess. Let me know if anyone can Google it. Do let us know. Some of them might be older, but these ones that we're surrounded by strike me as mid-1800s. But it is a medieval city. It's just, I assume they just destroyed a lot of those older wooden buildings. Also, there's a lot of wind here, so I don't think wood would be a really good idea. So I assume they had to restore the city back in the 1800s. They actually have a post box. So La Banque Poste. This is a great area. This is a great bank in order to take out cash on ATM. Usually given a pretty fair rate. But let me see if they have a post box. No, they don't. No post box. Oh, here it is. All right. Wow, this post box is gray. Easy to miss with the trash right next door. All right, we have postcards to send out to mega urbanists, people who contribute $20 or more on YouTube or on patreon.com/urbanist. So check it out if you want a postcard from France. If you become one this month, you'll still get a chance to get a postcard from France next month as well, because September I will be in France all until September 10th. So let me send them out here. International right here. And they're off. Oh. So they are off right there. Super excited. Those were some Chamonix postcards. So there's a few more to be sent out. And soon, 2 or 3 Avignon. And then others for the rest of the trip. Susie says, I hope I get a snowy postcard. Oh, damn, Susie. I send you one with like a blazing sun in a desert landscape with ice cube slowly melting. No, Susie, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the postcard I sent you. If people don't know, Susie, a longtime viewer, is a fan of cold weather. And oh yeah, I know. I have a list of all the mega urbanists. I have notes on what you guys like. So I send the perfect postcard to you. So I'm a bit bummed the food hall is closed. This is the Léal food hall, same name as the one in Lyon. This is a pretty well-known food hall. I'm not sure why it's closed. Cool green canopy that has green walls. I'm a bit bummed. There appears to only be one place open right here. Inspiration Camargue. I'm not sure what that is. So it seems like they are restoring it. Ludo says, are there any archaeological sites? That's a good question. I haven't seen an attraction that's specifically for an archaeological site. There might be places where there's some remains of medieval times or before, but there's, as far as I know, there's no like specific museum for that. So no, I haven't seen any. If anyone knows of any, do let us know. Sometimes they're hidden in just random businesses. You see a random archaeological site. Like these guys might be coming upon a medieval site. Who knows? But probably not. But if they do, it'll slow down construction like crazy. Because that means there has to be an archaeological dig. They have to assess how extensive the archaeological dig really is. It really is tricky. Uh-oh. Is this guy about to start jackhammering? Uh-oh. We're walking away from it fast. Jackhammering is about to start. We're far away. Let me show you some produce. Hell yeah, produce. Best part of Provence is fruits and vegetables. No, I'm serious. Like, fruits and vegetables are very important to this region. So there we go. Some fresh produce. Look at those tomatoes. All right, these don't look too good, the peppers. Susie says soap and produce. Yes, if you're traveling to Provence, be sure to enjoy the pleasures of those two things. Maybe even together. Then you'll truly have a great experience in Provence. Hello, Fang. Nice to see you here. Now we're kind of in the outskirts of the city. Yeah, this is kind of a more quieter area of the city. Wendy says, get a banana. I already have a few in my place. There's not much more to show you, but let's go all the way to the city walls once again. I think the other attractions really in Avignon is the museums. There's like museums about H&R, and there's one about medieval art, and there might be a church or two to visit as well. There's a museum within the church, which is really cool. So yeah, other places. If you want to see extra museums, there's a huge list of extra museums from the Netherlands, from Sweden, from Denmark, and Greece and Italy last year, and Ireland. You can become a patron. Patreon.com/urbanist. That's patreon.com/urbanist. And I just posted a video about the ice caves. And the ice caves, I have a full 13-minute video tour of the ice caves. So if you want to see the full uncut version, you can become a patron at patreon.com/urbanist. Look at this. I love that there's these huge trees here in Avignon. There's a few tree-lined streets. Ooh, a gas station. Oh, wow. Old style gas station. But guess what? The gas station has been remade into a restaurant, a bar. A charcuterie bar. Museum in your church is your archaeological site, says Teacup. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for letting us know, Teacup. Teacup says, much love, Ariel. You look super duper. You are super duper. Oh, thank you so much, Teacup. I appreciate that. There's also a town center area where there's a lot of restaurants, and there's great restaurant selection here, and you won't be spending too much. So you can get some amazing food, 3 courses for only about 30 euro. Sometimes they might be at 40 euro, which actually is a very good deal for some of the really high quality food you'll find here that would be a Michelin star restaurant in New York or in the US. So I do recommend allowing a little bit of budget for food, because fast food kind of sucks in France. America makes better fast food, especially in New York, and some other cities make better fast food. So here it's a little bit better eating at the local restaurants. If you want to go a little bit more on the budget, go to the boulangeries and grab yourself a great sandwich. Boulangeries make some amazing sandwiches, quiches, sometimes savory pastries as well. And look at this. Susie says, have a hamburger. I had one yesterday, actually. It was really good. Hamburgers are probably the better fast food you'll find here. Or if you go to a restaurant with a good burger, that's also a brasserie. Ooh, some brasseries have amazing burgers. MZ says 5,000 years old? No, MZ, this is not 5,000 years old. The wall is 1,000 something years old. Oh my God, a modern style building here. Susie says, oh, I hope you filmed it. No, I have not filmed that burger. It was a filmless burger. Love all the wooden doors throughout Europe, yeah? So loud. You gotta legalize those mopeds. Chris says Eric Kraser is a French fast food. Yep, that's a good option as well. But Eric Kraser is about the same price as good boulangeries. So I would say if you find a good boulangerie, don't go to Eric Kraser. Go to a local one. But if you're without any boulangeries, Eric Kraser is a good option. So right here we have the wall. The Great Wall of Avignon. Look how expansive it is. Can't believe it's still here, intact. That's amazing. And here we would be in water, because this would be the moat. And now we're outside the city walls. That's cool. Gary, hope you're enjoying your vacation, and Susie as well. All right, everyone, that brings us to the end of Avignon here in Provence. I hope you enjoyed these Provence live videos. I am heading to a new part of France soon. Well, tomorrow you'll see a new part of France. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Become a patron, patreon.com/urbanist if you enjoy it. If you're a Facebook viewer, consider switching over to Patreon. I'm still locked out of Facebook. Hopefully I can get access once again. And this is a gorgeous city. I recommend it, but best thing about Avignon or the other cities like Arles or Nimes is that they're great launching points for day trips. So this is more of a region of France that you're not gonna spend too much time in one city. Probably better seeing the city for one day and then going to a bunch of other different spots like I did yesterday. And that's probably the best bet when it comes to Provence. It's not like Chamonix. Chamonix, you have a lot of stuff to do like for 4 or 5 days. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Au revoir, les amis. À bientôt.